What's up, folks? Welcome back to the stream. We're live with the T5S2 Season 5 Pod 25 Finals, rounding out the season. We are just a week away from season end, so both these players right now working to secure their final couple points to try to get themselves a top 16 placement, although I think AshC is pretty well solidified. Doots here, over on the red side of the table, is really fighting for it. I think right now he's sitting at 17th place and is looking to secure this win in order to try to get in there as an alternate. So this is going to be kind of for all the marbles here, I think, chat, as players are setting up. But this is a Sororitas mirror match, which should make things pretty interesting. Pretty excited about this matchup because we are slowly moving out of the age where we're being dominated by Eldari and Tyranids. Given that, obviously we had all the Nephilim rules changes today, although maybe Tyranids probably doing just fine, but Eldari for sure not going to be quite as popular, and I think Adepta Sororitas are going to make a big comeback. So this is probably what's going to be sort of a preview of the upcoming metagame, where it's going to be a lot of Adepta Sororitas playing against itself. But this should be a pretty good game, I think. We have two very different builds of Adepta Sororitas playing up against each other. And both these players, or I should say especially Ash, you know, she will tell you if you want to hear. She had a pretty tough road to get to where she is in this particular pod, given that she did have to fight both Eldari and Tyranids to get there, although Doots, I think, had a little bit of an easier time. But goes to show you how powerful the, I guess, post-mid-season data slate secondaries are already for Adepta Sororitas, given that both of these players just Doots. Wow, all right, just kidding. Doots locking in a leap of faith here, which is, with their recent, more easy access to Miracle Dice, gives Adepta Sororitas an immense amount of pressure on secondary objectives. That gives them almost an easy 12 or 15 points, and they can basically roll out the remainder of their secondaries from there. So anyway, let's talk about exactly what we got in these lists today, chat, because they are pretty spicy lists. We'll talk about Doots' Adepta Sororitas list, because this is basically, I think, what we would consider to be a relatively standard style of Adepta Sororitas. And before I go too far, chat, I'm gonna just throw up a prediction for chat here. We'll go. We'll do a nice 10-minute prediction. How's that? Here you go, chats. Prediction is up. Get those channel points going. Get on in there, everybody. Thanks, everyone, as well, for joining us. I know this is a little bit of a later stream than people are normally used to, but thanks for everybody who's hanging out in the chat right now. Normally we are streaming usually midday, but this is a NA pod, so the NA pods tend to stream relatively late in the evening. So I apologize for anybody who is over there in EU time zone. This is probably going to be a little late for y'all, but hopefully it's not too bad. Anyway, we'll talk about the lists real quick here. So Dude's a perennial faction hopper. He does love his Adepta Sororitas, though, and we saw him, I think, back in the heady days of Season 2, playing the hell out of some Adepta Sororitas. And it usually jumps around Chaos faction, so this may actually be one of the last times that we see Doots on Adepta Sororitas, because he will probably be switching very quickly to Chaos Space Marines once their updated codex comes out. But it is nice to see him playing with a faction that is not some sort of janky variety of Chaos and Demon Wombo combo. Do see a lot of Magnus the Red in Deuce's list, which is not necessarily what you want to be doing if you're if you're trying to get a top 16 placement. But you know what? More power to him. Although I'm not sure Deuce has played much Magnus Red post 1007.8, now that I'm thinking about it, because he is kind of poopy. Anyway, we'll talk about Adepta Sororitas this time around. So this is a Bloody Rose list, so we are using the new Bloody Rose supplement. I guess it's not quite new anymore, but it does give a wide variety of additional benefits to a Bloody Rose list. We are bringing a Hospitaller, a Repentia Superior, a Canoness with Blazing Ire, and the Chaplet of Sacrifice. So that's going to give us our free respawn into potentially a double fight. As well as Morvenval, who obviously has to be the Army's Warlord, but gives you access to those delicious rerolls. We have one Novitiate squad and two Battle Sister squads. 3 units of Sisters of Repentance, 2 of 8, 1 of 7. A Dogmata with Course of Spiritual Fortitude, Verse of Holy Piety, and the Sigil Ecclesiasticus. 1 Seraphim squad, 2 sets of 2 Ministorum Hand Flamers, 1 Zephyrim squad, 2 Zephyrim squads, just identically loaded out, 5 models apiece in those with their power swords. We also have, interestingly, I'm going to shout out this little dude right here. Got a little points cut in the Nephilim update. A Castigator. Nice Castigator with its autocannons. Fire those Strength 8 autocannon shots downrange from the backline. And speaking of which, we also have 2 Retributor squads in that heavy support slot. Units of big units, 10 woman units, I should say. 4 multi-meltas apiece, alongside a pair of Armorium Cherubs. Obviously, there is that errata in play now that requires that only 1 Armorium Cherub be used each shooting phase. You can no longer double tap the 2 Armorium Cherubs, but that is part of the reason that we're taking the full 10-woman Sister Squad, because you can place the multi-meltas out in an aggressive position, chain back the bolter women for your aura buffs, and to be relatively safe, you can hide them in cover typically, and compound with that Armor of Contempt. Once you take attacks, you remove as many of the multi-melta unit models in the unit as possible, and still keep the unit safe. Then the Hospitaller will regenerate as many of those multi-meltas as you can, and then you can fire them again and use your Armorium Cherub the second time. So theoretically, the goal is to get 2 turns of attacking with multi-meltas out of these Retributor squads. Obviously, it doesn't happen 100% of the time, because sometimes 10 Toughness 3 models do just die. But Doots is here hoping that that does not happen. Oh man, are we going to place Retributor squads out in the open? Ooh, that is spicy. It does not look like... I don't know if we have anything in the Rhino. Don't believe that we do. Interesting. The Bloody Rose attachment does have the ability to pregame move a Rhino, which you can then disembark the passengers out of to give them a good position on turn 1. The downside there, obviously, is that disembarking passengers means that they're not on the table for the command phase, meaning they are not the... look at the list, Soren. Look at the list. There's a Bloody Rose list and there's a Valorous Heart list. The vote is appropriate. All right, you got to do some research. There's homework involved this time. But the big downside is that obviously those Retributor squads would not be benefiting from auras and targeted effects like Morvenval's full rerolls, which means you don't, as much as you can, you don't want to be putting them in the Rhino. If there's any chance that they can potentially deliver themselves early without the need for the transport, you're gonna like to do that. There you go, chat. You figured it out. We got 5 more minutes on that prediction. Get those points in. 12,000 points on Dudes. Hot damn. Hot diggity damn. Well, there you go. Boom. Speaking of which, I think it's also appropriate that we do have Dudes on the red side, which is appropriate for a Bloody Rose army, right, chat? That'll make sense, too. And Valorous Heart on the blue side, I think that also makes sense. They're like white and blue, I think, canonically, is their color scheme. So it makes total sense. We're doing things by the book here today, chat. But I think a pretty stock standard list from Doots, but a little bit spicier over here on AshC's side. She is going full resilience this time around. So we do have an Order of the Valorous Heart list for Ash. So we are going to get that anti-reroll effect now. Valorous Heart used to improve your armor save against enemy attacks, but no longer, or used to ignore AP1. But that's not how it works anymore, because obviously that would stack a little bit too efficiently with Armor of Contempt. Let's do it. So instead, it's just going to remove those rerolls. Looks like we are rolling to go first. And I believe that is Ash taking the first turn. They both roll the same color die, so that doesn't help me.
I will... If I want a pregame here, you put it on me. You're gonna have some meltas on me.
Yeah, it does sound like Ash is going first.
Let's go to there. Actually get through here. Yeah.
looks like we have a Sisters Novitiate squad in that Rhino. Wonder if we're going to be...
Yeah, pre-game move.
Yeah, potentially trying to
Down to 5.
put that in a position where it can rocket to this this bottom right-hand objective here.
Stand off the wall here.
Be able to disembark there, move, and then potentially miracle a large charge at the back line of that objective. And if the only objective secured that we see on that objective are the battle
Got a 5.
take it.
Oh no, I guess I
A big
lost.
5 for miracle dice on Doots to start with. Pretty good.
One phase, the one up. That's when I got charge. Oh. Fails. Wall him. Fails.
Stigmata.
Get him out of the way now.
Forgetting how to preach. Fair enough. good job,
Every
Stigmata.
single prayer was a dogmata in the past 3 days.
That's basically how those prayer mechanics tend to work. Anyway, let's talk about this list in particular. So, obviously, Valorous Heart with the improved resilience to stack on top of Armor of Contempt. We have a Canoness being built to be as difficult to kill as possible, taking Impervious to Pain to reduce... taking the Mantle of Ophelia to reduce all incoming damage to 1. So regardless of the damage of the attack she's taking, she's only going to be taking 1 per attack. Then she also has Impervious to Pain, giving her a 5+ damage ignore. So not only is she ignoring any damage above damage 1, 30% of those are also not going through because of that Impervious to Pain. On top of that, obviously, Adepta Sororitas are really good at keeping their characters alive between just regular miracle dice use to automatically pass saves, or using Moment of Grace to shunt a save up one pip. You can spend a miracle dice and a CP to alter the facing on the saving throw. We also have Ephriel Stern and Kaiganel. Oh, importantly, that is a word of the Emperor Canoness, so she can make enemies fight last and potentially punch through their invulnerable saves. We also have Ephriel Stern and Kaiganel in that detachment. I know Ash does love her super characters in Adepta Sororitas. No Celestine in this particular list, but I don't know if she quite fits the theme of all of the robots. But Ephriel and Kaiganel certainly help these big, stompy, relatively slow vehicle units, because they do give you a little bit of an ability to impact the game in the quote-unquote psychic phase, given that Ephriel gets to hit the nearest enemy for D3 mortal wounds, potentially. It looks like we might have boxed ourselves in here a little bit. I think Kaiganel's going to have some trouble. Yeah, I got to get Morphinball out of there first. We have a Battle Sister Squad, just 5 Adepta Sororitas standing there to hold some objectives. Then we start to get into the real meat of the army. 2 units of Paragon Warsuits with Multi-Meltas and Warblades. So the 2 damage plus 1 attack weapon. They also have a 3 damage weapon, but it is, unfortunately, gives them -1 to hit. So a little bit less exciting. 2 units of Mortifiers, a mix of Flails and Buzzblades to give them a good range of profiles. The Buzzblades with those big strength 2 damage attacks. The Penitent Flails with an attack doubling effect that puts them to 10 attacks, I believe. A second unit of Mortifiers with the same loadout. And that's followed up by a second patrol detachment, also out of Valorous Heart. That's led by a Missionary. Morvenval with her Warlord trait, obviously. 1 unit of Battle Sisters, a Dogmata, as well as a 3rd unit of Paragon Warsuits. So the full 9. And another Mortifier individual Anchorite this time to get the 3+ armor save. Those Anchorites pretty efficient models. For 65 points, you get 2 heavy bolters, a really good melee profile, and they're just individual units that can stand in corners and screen things out. You know, Ash has been playing these styles of models for a really long time and been doing really well with them. Hopefully she can continue it through this game. I'm sure she's hoping to be able to get out this time around. But how are we feeling about this matchup, chat? Ooh, pretty close to even. 13k on Doots to win, 11k on Ash. Let's see how things go. So Ash is taking Stranglehold this time around. I'm not sure she's actually going to be able to score it, however. It doesn't look like she's going to get anything into the middle, and that will be a really big deal, as this mission tends to be relatively even, unless one player gets particularly hammered. I do think missing out on that Stranglehold on the first turn is going to be a little bit awkward. Not to mention the fact that Doots has that bottom round 5 scoring in his back pocket. So if he's going to be able to survive that long, he could keep things pretty competitive. Now, I do wonder if Doots, he does have his Retributor squad kind of baiting Ash a little bit. It looks like most of them are going to be out of range of the multi-meltas on those Paragon Warsuits, but obviously we have a absolute bevy of heavy bolters on the Mortifiers over here. Oh, excuse me, the Mortifiers have flamers. Is that correct? Oh, they do have flamers. Oh, no bolters. All right. So we're actually just going to be firing Morven Vol at each other, and that's probably why Doots was feeling pretty aggressive with his Retributors. He knows that he could place them out of range of the Paragons to shoot at him, which is what he's done. Also, those Paragons being out of range does mean that the Retributors do have to move and shoot, so they're going to be hitting on 4s rather than 3s. But given that it's only Morven Vol firing in, she shouldn't kill more than a couple of Retributors, and we do have the Hospitaller back here hiding in the middle of this brick of sisters in order to heal some, and it looks like only one sister going down to Morven Vol shooting. That Armor of Contempt plus light cover doing pretty well. Send it back to the players' mics here as we complete the shooting phase.
2's re-rolling. 3's re-rolling.
Oh, Torin, that's all you want, Dudes? Well, I'm sure Dudes appreciates the vote of confidence.
Good.
Alright.
Yeah, looks like the limited amount of shooting that we do have.
Got my 2 banners, which I mentioned that is while moving those girls.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Did these advance?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't do the scan thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright,
Ash here, like, whatever. Who cares about strategic scans? Basically placing everything in the center of the table and hoping for a big fight, I think, is what the Valorous Heart are asking for right now. And I'm sure that that is exactly the type of game that Valorous Heart would want to play. These Paragon Warsuits, at least in Bloody Rose, do have that stratagem, which is, I believe, called Wade into the Foe, and that's what they would love to do. Yeah, looks like Dudes here measuring out that charge with the Novitiates, looking potentially to knock those Battle Sisters out with a big long charge from those Obsec Novitiates. If they can kill the Battle Sisters, they can potentially redirect one of these big vehicle units away from the fight in the center and knock Ash down to a 4-point primary in turn 1. That said, we have very little forward pressure from Ash. I think she's basically hoping to create this indomitable brick in the middle of the table. Those Paragons with their 2+ base armor save, plus Armor of Contempt, plus -1 damage. Basically a bunch of Space Marine, like, Ironclad Dreadnoughts running up the table at you. Only 4 wounds apiece, so they will go down to multi-meltas eventually, but you probably need 2 converted attacks to kill them, and that's a little bit of a tall ask to get through all of those defensive effects. Confidence and blind love is a thin line. Oh man, are you gonna start sending Dudes like your like dismembered ear? Look out! Big yikes. So interesting stuff. I also wonder if Dudes does want to get a unit into the center of the table. I wonder. He doesn't quite have. He does have a Repentia Superior, so we could potentially be advancing and charging with those Sisters Repentia, but that is going to be a really long charge to get them into anything useful. And Doots eventually will lose out on the trading game. If he's just throwing Sisters Repentia and Novitiates forward and not killing any of Ash's combat units, he will eventually run out of steam. I think what he needs to do is get a couple really good rounds of attacking with his ranged attacks into the Warsuits and hopefully win that way. But things are going to be a little bit awkward. It is worth mentioning, too, that the Flamer pick on those Mortifiers is a pretty big deal, because obviously he's going to have to eat that unless he can finagle some ways to charge them without Overwatch. So if he wants to get those Bloody Rose combat buffs in effect, he's going to have to do so, potentially eating the heavy Flamer Overwatch, which would be very bad.
In advanced blue. 11.
Looks like Novitiate's electing to just push up into the center of the table. This is an advance roll. So Doots is looking to movement block here. Yeah, going 11 inches. There may be a path around the corner of this building. These lampposts here, because they're not keyworded if you mouse over them, they are just cosmetic items. And you'll notice if you play the map that they actually don't have
Ephriel and Kaganil don't heroic 6, I don't think, right?
No.
So Doots here
Everybody else here
ringing
heroics.
the objective. So that is going to score him Stranglehold. But I don't think he's going to be able to block any of AshC's scoring himself. So Ash is still going to be at an 8-point primary. Only a 3-point swing here for Doots. But what I think Doots is hoping here is that this can buy him an additional turn of shooting with the Retributors. If he can peek out the Retributors, get a ton of shooting into the Paragons, do a bunch of damage, block their forward momentum with the sister unit, he'll lose a couple of Retributors in the swing back, and he'll obviously lose the Novitiates.
All right, purple and
hopefully a second round of shooting from those Retributors will be enough to clear the way.
I'm just gonna kind of move around these chicks.
Sisters Repentia setting up
Stay an inch off the wall.
to potentially push into those side objectives next turn as well.
Damn it.
Adaptive traits not being adaptive anymore sucks. I agree. I think it was a little bit of a sad change. I don't think it's like game breaking or anything. It feels like it feels more like a gesture than it does an actual mechanical change. Because I think the adaptive traits being able to be changed on the fly was more cool than it was good. I think I picked a different adaptive trait than I planned on list building exactly one time. Occasionally I would like actually play the standard adaptive trait instead of OBSEC on monsters if I had access to lurk biomorphologies. And that was mostly if my opponent easily out OBSEC'd me and there's nothing I could do about it. But otherwise I would pick one at basically list building and then I would never change it. So embarking a bunch of units into the Rhino, it's basically going to give them a little bit of an additional movement as they can disembark on the other side of the wall and then push forward onto these objectives. Especially those Crusaders. If we can get, basically, we can deal with the OBSEC on the Paragons. The Paragons are core keyworded, so they can get the buffs from the Dogmata. So we're going to be seeing the Dogmata placing OBSEC on one of these Paragons. And I imagine that Ash is going to keep whichever Paragon unit has objective secured on it relatively safe, so it doesn't get pulverized by a Repentia squad or anything like that. Although they are pretty resilient to Repentia, to be fair. Torn, about to play your first game of Nephilim, Orcs versus Sisters? That does sound fun. I do appreciate that they gave Orcs some like actually meaningful changes. And I think a lot of Orc players were hoping for huge transformative changes to their faction, but I don't think they really needed it. What Orcs needed mostly was for the best factions to be toned down, and I don't know if they've been toned down enough to the level that it will matter, but I certainly think that it will make a big difference. The positive changes will make a big difference. Looks like pushing up the Castigator within 36 of the Mortifiers. Maybe they're just looking to pour some shots into them. That AP1 on the Heavy Bolter does basically nothing to the Paragons, since they're going to ignore it, and reduce the damage by 1. It's one of the worst weapons to fire Paragon Warsuits.
Alright, I'm going to move these first, but I'm going to move.
But the Mortifiers are a much juicier target. They are only T5 and have a really crappy save, so that AP1 punches right through. And it looks like we are shuffling our Retributors around. So what Doots is doing here is he's essentially proxy basing out the movement for the green unit. He's going to move the green unit out, and just to determine where the red unit has to stand for green to be able to move into successful coherency. And this is legal to do, since you can measure anything at any time in Warhammer 40k.
Okay.
This is essentially Doots just saying that what he's going to do is place a bunch of proxy bases down, but instead of taking the time to place additional proxy bases, we're just going to move the models. There we go. So as we can see here, both of these Retributors bricks with the additional units hiding in cover to protect the unit. Essentially, the unit itself the unit being destroyed is the most value component of this entire combo. If the unit dies, you no longer have the ability for the Hospitality to regenerate multi-meltas. So all we need is one random Battle Sister to live out of the unit in order to respawn those multi-melta sisters. So we're going to be keeping as many of them hugging cover and as many of them hiding in the back as possible. And then again, the first couple casualties may just get pulled from the multi-melta retributors as they start taking shots. Orcs needed new secondaries and got real good ones. I haven't taken a look at the Orc secondaries, Torin, but that's good to hear. And I know they didn't drop too many points, but they dropped a couple. The update to the WA was a really big deal. Your offensive turn also getting you a 5+ invulnerable save is like huge. Although most of their stuff had a 6+ invulnerable save anyway, so that one doesn't matter quite as much. But certainly a 5+ invuln on kill rigs like makes me want to tear my hair out. Looks like, I wonder if we are going to be angling a charge here for the Sisters for Pencha. Looks like we have a 5 and a 3 for Miracle Dice
9, unless I go here.
On Doots' side.
It's still a 9.
Maybe trying to get a charge into the Emperor. So we could potentially charge from out of line of sight since these walls will block LOS. We do have to get around to this Battle Sister squad, though, and that does make things a little bit awkward. And I don't know if Doots wants to trade a Repentia squad just for the Battle Sisters. He does need this Repentia to actually deal damage.
One of these is worth more points than the other. So... yeah, we're going to go ahead and advance yellow. Damn it. I'll just roll it.
4. Oh no, we were wondering or deciding whether to use a 5, and there's a 5.
Sweet.
Well, fair enough. All right, makes sense. It looks like we did pick +1 advance and charge for Doots, so we're going to be going 12 inches, and we have an automatic 8-inch charge in the bank with the Miracle Dice, so it can potentially hit something within 9 with a charge. So it might be that we're looking to hit these sisters. Very aggressive turn out of Doots. I was wondering whether these Novitius would push up into Objective 3, or he would play things relatively cagey. But I do like the play to try to get the 2 rounds of shooting out of the Retributors. The Retributors are what Doots needs to deal damage in this game. So let's see if they can do it. That's the question. Zephyr unit standing within 6 inches of Morven Ball, just in case Doots needs them to get buffed by her aura.
All right.
Next turn. Some good forward thinking there.
I'll have these Zephyr do the scan. And I think that is what we're doing. Reposition here. The Pinch's Superior will advance. So, all right, let's do some shooting.
Why did your benching determination give it happen chatless?
Oh, I'm too lazy to to rewrite it or whatever. This is like from like 12 lists ago. All right, let's do Castigator into Mort's 1. So it's all going to be AP1. No, I got to roll the autocannon separate. So this is autocannons, 3s, and 3s, 4 AP1s.
3 ups. 3 up.
2 damage.
1 damage.
Take 1. Heavy bolters. 2.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Morven will do bolters there. And missiles. I forget, do Paragons get AOC? They do, don't they?
Yeah.
So we'll do...
Strasburger happy to have Necrons
Yeah,
back on the
bolters
table.
into...
Hell yeah, dude. I know the other game going on in the server right now is a Necron Mirror Match, and I think people are just really excited to put them back on. Yeah, they seem wildly powerful right now. It'll be interesting to see if all of their changes stick, and whether or not any of them get quick fixed. Because I think maybe some of the implications were maybe unintended. I don't know. We'll find out.
3.
Damage incoming on the Anchorite. Anchorite takes 1.
Grody. Okay. Red is going to shoot here.
Not quite the withering firepower, I think, that Doots has been hoping for so far. We'll see if his Retributors can pick up the slack.
Hitting on 4s, you're rolling.
I wonder if Doots forgot to
rapidly.
regenerate with his Hospitaller. I think he did.
5.
A little awkward. Yeah, because these 2 Retributors never got replaced.
5 ups.
Oopsies.
Yes, 5 ups.
Yep. Stop it. First one is 3. I'm going to go ahead and CP that. 4.
3.
Yep.
Right, and then the next one will kill 1.
Yep. Cherub.
Alright, well, first Warsuit down. Second
One
shot's
hit.
not great.
1 wound.
Ooh, and then the Shield of Faith comes in.
Okay, green is going to do same squad, I think. Yeah. Actually, no. We'll do the orange squad with green. Fours, real 1s. Gross. All right, Cherub. One into orange.
Altas.
All right. Well,
AOC. Yeah.
that wasn't AOC. That was me missing.
Well,
Yeah, but those are AOC.
that wasn't great. Killed a single
All
Paragon
right,
Warsuit.
so no miracles. Let's
Yikes.
see what we want to do about this. Let me just look to see how this looks here. So we're going to do... Just going to charge the Battle Sisters.
Okay.
For a 12.
So Repentia going
This
in on
one's going
these
to go
sisters.
9 here, and then...
Ooh, and they rolled big. Could have hit the
3 over to
Mortifiers
here.
potentially, although I think the Mortifiers would have overwatched, and that would have been brutal. So at least this will cut,
Traded
A
all
banner
Repentia
off
for
of-
a new set of
assuming
Battle
that this
Sisters.
the Sister Squad dies, which I assume they will.
At 1 point.
This will cut a
Yeah.
banner off of
So this one
Ash and
here. This
dock
one can
her
just go there.
a primary. But so far, I think she has to be pretty excited about the outcome of the turn so far. Although it looks like she may be able to prevent dudes from getting a lot of the Repentia in.
You don't want to charge the Mortifier as well.
Yep.
Rattler 3535. How do they get the color outline? That's it from a feature of Yellow Scribe. If you put in ! how to play in chat, you can get access to our new player tutorial tier list or playlist on YouTube.
All right.
And that has
there.
instructions on how to implement yellow scribe on your armies, which gives you all of these cool tools, the auras and the colors and updated data sheets and all that stuff. It's all good. You can dynamically keep track of your profiles if you bracket and stuff like that. It's a pretty incredible tool.
4 or 5
You have to
again,
move
maybe.
closer to here.
All right.
That might get off, but these two are kind of stuck.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so 3, 4, 5, 6 that are in, with 4 each is 24.
Oh, no job.
So that exploding 6 is there getting generated by the Verse of Holy Piety. So we have access to both the exploding 6s and plus 1 advance charge.
I do not want to pull them.
Okay, because you put this one close and then I pushed it back.
Thank you.
There you go. All right.
Okay,
Well, pretty good turn from
so-
Doots so far. He's blocking a ton of Ash's movement forward momentum. Clipped out this Battle Sister squad, so denying Ash 6 points and potentially even more, depending on how long he can hold that objective from scoring banners. This is also going to block the mortifiers from moving around, since I don't believe that there's space here to get their base in next to the engagement range of the Repentia. And he's done a lot of movement blocking here for the Paragon Warsuits trying to move around this corner. Although I do think that there probably is space to get a Warsuit base plus a Novitiate. Yeah, plus the Novitiate's engagement. Yeah, that should be absolutely fine. So didn't quite. I think we needed a 6-inch advance on the Novitiates there to get them to actually like fully block off the Paragon Warsuits. But as it stands, it's probably okay. Go just check coherency there.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Pretty important if you're trying to move block to keep that tight coherency. A little bit easy if you're trying to extend your unit as far out as possible. Easy to get your models a little bit too far apart. Not a big deal, though.
Very stacked unit. Okay.
So I do think that Doots has kept his vital assets relatively close to his chest. He doesn't have too much shooting coming into the Retributors, just the multi-meltas off the Paragons, although that is 2 multi-meltas and a Stormbolter on each Paragon Warsuit. So a grand total, probably 4 attacks coming out of each of them, shooting into the Retributor squads. I don't believe that we'll have a problem wiping the Assisters Repentia between the Flamers and the attacks off the Mortifiers. But the question here is whether or not the Paragons can get a shot on the Castigator. It looks like they can't, so they are going to have to fire all of their shots into the Retributors. And I think the game becomes much harder here if Ash is able to wholly remove any of these Retributor units. Now, the awkward part for these Paragon Warsuits firing at the Retributors is actually the fact that the Paragon Warsuit units are not very big. And that's because, like we said, the failure mode for these Retributor squads is when the entire squad gets wiped out. But what Doots is going to do is he's actually going to start pulling his multi-meltas first. Normally, you'd like to see those heavy weapon and unit champion models survive as long as possible in a unit. But because we have that Hospitaller, Doots is incentivized to kill the models that can be shot at by future units, and then just regenerate them with the Hospitaller next turn. So the fact that the Paragon Warsuits fire, essentially individually, fire 6 multi-melta shots apiece, means that Ash is going to be able to, you know, maybe kill 3 or 4 of them, then have to fire with a second unit of Paragon Warsuits, which may then shoot the 3rd unit out of line of sight and leave the last 1 or 2 Battle Sisters alive. So the character's peeling out right now. Ephrion, Ephrion and Kaigonal are pushing out to take the middle of the table, but the Canoness, most importantly, is standing there as well. It looks like these Paragon Warsuits going to try to get a charger on the side. Maybe looking to arc this Warsuit unit across both objectives if they're able to, with a charge move, put 1 model towing this objective, 1 model in the center, and then 1 model towing this objective. They are objective secured this turn thanks to the Dogmata back here, so that would put OBSEC models on both objectives. And then once they start taking casualties, Ash could choose which one she wanted the objective secure to stay on. If Doots commits a ton of his own objective secure to the middle objective, Ash knows that she doesn't really need to hold the objective secured there, so she can pull it probably. Whereas these Sisters Repentia, for example, are not innately objective secured, so if Doots needs to push them to this objective to try to clear it, that makes things much harder. He would have to kill both the OBSEC Battle Sisters in the back and the Paragon Warsuit unit. And that's a bit of a tall order right now. We saw how resilient these models were. So while we're going through Ash's turn 1 movement phase, we can talk really quickly about the secondary objective picks for both these players. Dude's here taking Retrieve Knockwind data, bring it down, and Leap of Faith. And one thing that we should notice is that we are on the Scouring today, so we have 5 objectives organized in this nice pattern in the center of the table, outside each player's deployment zone, but in easy access to it. That does mean that the players are going to be potentially trading Stranglehold over the middle of the table, but I think, interestingly, Doots has elected not to take Stranglehold because he recognizes that his army potentially hits a little bit harder than Ash's, or is certainly more options for mobility because it's mostly infantry and less focused on vehicles. But he doesn't really have the attrition power to contend with these big bricks of Paragon Warsuits in the middle of the table. So trying to hold on Stranglehold in order to score all of his points is not going to be that big of a deal. Or is not really going to be that easy for him. So he's elected to take Bring It Down. Leap of Faith, which is the Sororitas specific secondary, gets you 1 victory point if you complete 2 acts of faith in a turn. An additional victory point if you complete 3 or more, up to a maximum of 12. And that is each player's turn. So if Dudes were to complete 3 acts of faith in his turn and 3 in his opponent's turn, that would be a grand total of 4 victory points scored immediately. It's a pretty good easy secondary to score, especially with the number of miracle dice that Sororitas can generate. But you do have to clean their opponent's units out, and that is something that's a bit difficult to do against the Paragons. Although we did look at this miracle dice generation though for Dudes. Oh my god. Incredible. All 5s and 6s here forever.
Yeah, everything.
Okay. Cool. I
don't see what else I would have range at, which
yeah. Let's see, hold on, give me a second.
Okay.
Yeah. Bolters. Yeah, go for it. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, it's 12 saves.
Okay, you got 12. So I got 4 in cover. One goes through, dies.
Flip time back to me, please, because you are deliberating.
Yeah, sure.
Right. And then 8, 6 Malta saves, 6 Malta shots. Miss.
These are 5s either way.
Whoa!
One goes through, damage.
Look at these saves.
The
damage does matter for the Hospitaler's damage in order, right?
Dice.
Not in this
Gotta
case.
take one of the ones in cover. Yeah.
Yep.
Second squad, Spend 1 CP for +1 to hit, doing the exact same thing.
Same squad?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll spend 2 here to fire on death on a 4-up.
Yeah, this unit does have the
All
Morphin
hit.
Vol upgrade, so it's going to get full rerolls in this shot.
11 Stormbolters.
So Doots here is
cover.
incentivized to start taking damage on his Retributors out of cover. Looks like we are going to start taking the ones in cover. It's a little dangerous there, Doots. I don't know, man.
Okay, 2 out of cover. Okay, so these I don't care about. One of the Meltas on a 4-up.
Hot damn.
Does get to fire. It's going to shoot the wounded squad, I guess. They did not move. They hit.
Ooh!
And no
Look at that wound
rerolls.
roll.
I will pop a cherub with them.
Can't reroll wounds against Valorous Heart, though. Brutal.
Didn't Trevi roll that you can't do that? Because it's the same as this has similar wording as Overwatch.
No, because I get to select the target.
I don't know.
I don't remember what the interaction is.
I don't know. Thought it worked, but if not, that's fine.
I don't know. Trevi?
Yeah, let me take a look.
Sure.
Let's see.
Yeah, the Amorum Cherub can only be used in your shooting phase.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
I can put the chair back.
Well, you'll probably be done here in a second.
Yeah.
If I'm not, I'll put it. If you're not, I'll put it back.
Multi-meltas. Reroll. Choose. Reroll. 6 Melta saves.
All right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
2 are within my 5-up.
I mean, you can just take the 5-up last.
Yeah. Okay, we're dead.
Yeah.
3 more on 4-ups.
So that's one Retributor squad down. I wonder if Doots could have saved that one if he had taken more multi-melta casualties there. I also wonder if he forgot to put those 2 Retributors back. I think he did. And I think they exactly died. So I think that might have just been a whoopsies on Doots' part.
Last squad, which is just these 2, are going to shoot.
Yeah, and that fight on death really did nothing.
This whole squad is.
Oh no, things are falling apart already, chat.
So this is injured squad. Meltas first. Meta.
We are going to score Doots an 8-point primary. I think he is going to be hoping to get
3 Melta saves.
A very nice primary objective lead.
Three Melta saves and 6 Bolta saves.
Sorry, where's this going? Into green?
Green, yeah.
Okay. This is Melta saves.
3 Melta saves first.
And then, sorry, what was the other one?
6 Storm Bolta saves.
Okay, Storm Bolters. I'll take these in cover.
Melta first.
Okay. I will take these in cover as well. It was 3, you said?
Yeah.
2, what's the damage?
Sequence doesn't really matter, so
We'll just roll the 2.
5.
No. So 2 die, and then these are also in cover. Good.
3 more. You got 6 Bolta saves.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it made it. Cool.
Okay. Yeah. Didn't leave it line of sight, did I? Nope, that was stupid. It's all good. Morven. Northern. I shoot them. Probably should. Northern will shoot everything at them. Frag missile.
You'll get 3.
shot.
And then, oh, yeah, 3.
Five saves.
Okay, 3 in
And-
cover. 1's dead. 2 left in cover. Okay.
Volta. 2 saves.
Is this the last thing that's shooting? I think it is, right?
Yes. Yep.
Alright, so these are both bolters, right? So I'll use a 3 miracle on one of them, and I'll roll the other one. Good.
It's not lasting shooting, but lasting shooting them. Akana shoots another shit.
Yeah.
She hits. She wins.
It's a melter, right? Yeah.
Go for it.
Am I excited about
Yeah,
playing
just really
Tyranids
don't
after the
care what
bandwagoners drop?
Just
Oh,
wanted to
I,
finally shoot it.
I don't know if people are dropping Tyranids anytime soon, chat. Oh my god.
Charges.
I don't know if the nerfs were enough to stop the faction from
You
being
got a miracle for
at least top 3 at the very least. I think a lot of
Shooting.
Tyranid players are going to stick around.
6. Okay, this Paragon's blood charging the shit.
Yep.
1 on flank. 6, 7 because +1. So Mata. 4. Mission. Canoness charging.
Hmm?
7. Everything else done. Not have a number. 3, 3, 3, 2, and 1. Those 2 paragons charging. Inches. I will see if you roll this.
A little bit of an awkward snake eyes there.
Move the one at the back first. You get to 0.5, 3 total, and I'll go here. Paragon, orange, 9. Oven. Oh, there, she did right, sorry. So she has to stop here. And then the multipliers at the back. There, we're in. Okay. Right. All up in your face.
Mm-hmm. On the scouring? What?
Alright.
Crazy.
Fight.
I'm fighting last.
Yep, you're fighting last. So I can just pick my choice.
Don't worry, Novitiates, you'll be fine.
Who do I need?
Who wants to move the least?
What am I excited about playing with all the changes?
Multipliers, I guess.
Okay.
I'll probably be sticking with Hypely Kraken. I don't think anything there changes. I played an updated version of my Kraken list on Sunday. That VOD should still be up on the video archive. If you are a subscriber, you can watch it. But we played with the rumored points cost changes, which ended up, at least for that list, being correct. and it didn't really feel that much different than a normal list, than the pre-nerf list, to be fair. So I don't think I'd be changing too much, although I'm sure I'll eventually make it a little bit more efficient. I did play double Neurothrope, and I think I might be sticking with that. That was pretty good. Death Leaper turned into a second Neurothrope, which felt pretty solid.
Wings.
Mm-hmm.
Over your alls.
Ow.
Very disappointing, Salad. Lost in Plague and Pestilence. I'm sorry to hear that. That was you're the only undefeated, right? So now there's 2 X and 1s. Unfortunate.
Shove you up here. Shove you up here. He's mounting. Thanks. I'll be frustrated. Yeah. You do fast. Nice.
No Limit 81, thanks for the Twitch Prime sub. Appreciate it. I don't know if it popped up on the overlay. Hopefully it does.
Okay. Check out my miracle and oh.
There it goes.
Okay.
On to you.
Better late than
anything
never.
tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yeah, I lost 4 there. I'll just use a miracle 4
So
because I forgot to burn 1.
Novitiates have been clipped, and it did. The Pile and Consolidate moves did give the Paragons enough space to rocket forward. And this opens the question whether or not Dudes can deal with this pile of Paragon Warsuits and characters, most importantly, that are chilling in the middle of the table. And I think this is sort of emblematic of how Ash typically plays her armies. She likes to, more often than not, use her army as a delivery system for these characters. So the question is whether or not Doots is going to be able to clear them out. Because even if he kills, 2 Paragon Warsuits and the Mortifiers, let's say, if things go really well, he has to deal with the Word of the Emperor Canonist, who's extremely hard to kill, and swing with that Blessed Blade for 2 damage, plus Ephriel and Kaiganil, who are themselves incredibly difficult to kill, and Morvenball. So what's going to be awkward is how Doots deals with this. Now, what he may end up elect to do is push towards the other side of the table. So yeah, it looks like we are. He did place the Zephyrim within 6 inches of Morvenball to get that full reroll buff, and I wonder if we are just going to push them up into this missionary here to block that objective for a second turn. So what Dudes may just elect to do here is basically take the loss in the middle, hope his army doesn't die too quickly, but keep Ash off primary objective points. And if he can do that long enough, he will eventually win the game. Downside here is that Ash has a ton of objectives secured in the middle of the table. Although, if Dudes can clip this unit of Paragons out and touch the objective with a single obsec, he'll actually take it. And he does have all these Retributors, Morvenball's rockets, and maybe a unit of Repentia to clear it. But then we would need that Dogmata buff onto something that's going to touch the middle of the table. I don't know what that is yet. We'll see how things plan out. Looks like Doots is planning out his game plan here. But if I think what may be difficult for Doots here is how centrally located, how centrally concentrated, I should say, this mission is. While normally, if Ash were to commit her entire army into this central area of the table, and Doots were to do what it looks like he's going to do, which is push his army around the sides here, that would normally make things very difficult for these Paragon Warsuits. They're only moving 8 inches a turn. and can't go through walls. They oftentimes have to move around. So getting to this objective is going to be a little bit difficult, although it does peek out around the terrain a little bit, just a hair, so it can be touched from the other side. But what that does do is mean that she can peel off units from the center to go contest the other objectives around the corners of the table. And she doesn't have to move that far to do it. Yeah, so it looks like Doots is pushing the Zephyrim unit up and is probably going to be electing for a hit on that missionary, which will clip out that objective again. And certainly Doots has the opportunity here, because AshC's army is so focused on vehicle units, that he can just hold these little characters in the back here and be relatively assured that they won't be killed. Although I'm not sure that Hospitality is going to survive, I'm going to be honest. We do have Assassination on the table for Ash. So Doots does have to be a little bit cagey with his characters. So Mata is pushing forward. Little musical interlude there from Doots. Thank you, Doots. You're the best.
Just advance the superior down here. Okay. Just make sure. Do this.
Here come the
Okay.
oh, it's inside the Rhino, it looks like.
Not
Now we do have a Battle Sister
that.
Squad there. Okay. Yeah, that'll work. So Battle Sister Squad will go up and touch that center objective. We just have to make sure we get out of the heroic intervention range of all of these characters, which is going to be a little bit awkward for Doots, but what he could potentially do is get that Battle Sister Squad in with a charge, then use a pile and consolidate to get them in. Once, hopefully, these Paragon Warsuits get peeled out by one of the Repentia units, I think is what we're hoping to do.
There.
Yeah, it doesn't have a good way to access this Battle Sister Squad in the back here.
Right.
And we do have this Mortifier who is doing a good job at basically representing the counterpunch on this side of the board. So Doots does have his strategic reserves. He has a unit of Sisters Repentia as well as the Zephyrim coming in out of reserve. The Zephyrim are potentially going to be in there to do some retrieve knockdown data, although we do have Angelic Ascent.
Are going to advance, I think. Unless I want.
Pushing the Seraphim forward. We do have Angelic Ascent on those jump pack infantry, so they can bounce around the table to complete that retrieve knockwind. But I think one potential course of action here would be that Doots could place a, although he has to be outside the opponent's deployment zone on turn 2 for his strategic reserves. So he could place a unit of Sisters Repentia over here, 9 inches away from this unit, and go for a charge there. The downside is that if the Repentia do not kill or do not get the charge on that Battle Sister Squad, or even if they do, this Mortifier will come in and probably wipe most of the end out. Because it does have Flail, so it is going to get those double attacks. And it has a set of Heavy Bolters to help finish the job. Doots also importantly completed one activation of his strategic scan over on this objective. And I don't believe that Ash has declared any strategic scans. That could be another avenue by which Doots could potentially try to eke out a primary objective lead if he can prevent Ash from completing those scans, because it is a full round action. Completes at the start of your next command phase. Then he can slowly grind ahead on those, because again, Doots' objectives are so much safer than Ash's, because Ash cannot go through the walls to charge the models on Doots' objectives.
Yeah.
I just have a Canonist here with Word of the Emperor. I wonder if the game plan is going to
But
be
I
for
need
that
those.
Can't ask to broadcast anti-invuln aura, although I don't,
Alright,
I
we
don't
know
know if
what
that matters so
AshC
much.
is. Alright.
I don't think his AP values are high enough to punch them through their invuln save. And the Battle Sister Squad not pushing out.
Okay, we're good there, good there, good there. Don't care about that.
Chat. I thought I knew what Doots' plan was, but I'm not sure I do now. Morvenval coming out to play. All right. Okay. All right, Morven. What do you got? What do you got for us? She's like, I got full rerolls. How's that? I guess the Canoness does still project her minus one, or her fight last, which is still pretty relevant. Here comes the Zephyrim squad. So it looks like the Zephyrim are going to be pushing onto that Battle Sister squad. They do have a pennant, I believe. So they have a reroll. Although Doots does have 1,000 miracle dice back here, so he has very good charge dice.
Alrighty, let's see if this one goes a little bit better.
All right. Let's see a pretty good
So
shooting face
let's
here.
do Meltas first. We're just going to go everything right here in the front. And just in case, I'll put a couple of bolt guns in here. So 2 bolt guns going to this Anchorite 1.
Dude's not regenerating Retributors a second turn in a row.
Just one.
Oh, chat. That makes me feel bad inside.
Nice.
This Hospitaller sitting here doing nothing all game.
Meltas up front.
Big Sag. I think that might have been
Got
because
ones
she
for
couldn't
ball.
quite do it from her position on the objective there, but it still feels bad.
Oof, just 3.
If, bend and discard, 4 and a 2.
Yep.
And then take a 6.
So there's a moment of grace to save one of the attacks, and then
One more.
standard miracle dice use, and these invulnerable saves,
allowed.
man, so strong. Holy crap! That's the second turn this Retributor squad
4 damage.
has bounced a Paragon Warsuit.
Nice.
So many
Vol
6s getting rolled
will-
for Ash here.
We'll do Bolter here.
Although, to be fair, that was a pretty hefty investment of resources for Ash. She did have to burn a ton of miracle dice for it for the second time. And that is one of the reasons this list is so powerful, is because you do have all of those sinks for those miracle dice to keep those Paragons alive.
3 and 3.
2 damage. Of course
Take
not.
1.
Missiles.
She stands.
1 missile.
3.
Oh.
Cassie will shoot Anchorite.
And Morven bounces too, leaves the Anchorite alive over here. Oh no, this is not going well for Doots. Oh, the amount of firepower he's pouring into these Valorous Heart suits and doing no damage is just brutal.
Oh, she's dead. Yeah.
Finally gets
And
one
these are
mortifier. A single mortifier has been removed. We're on the board. We got 1 Paragon last turn. We get 1 mortifier this turn. 1.5
Bolters.
mortifiers even. Ooh.
4 more.
Go get him, Castigator.
Pause.
Castigate this. Ugh. And she saves it on the damage ignore roll. Chat, this is brutal. Oh my god.
Let's see what else we got.
Ash, stop rolling 5s and 6s all day. Oh man. Nurgle Mad in chat. What's up, dude? How's it going? We're just watching some Adepta Sororitas beat their heads against a brick wall. And that brick wall is a second Adepta Sororitas list.
Hey, take 2.
Pause.
Pistols for the win. Crack. Missed.
Finally got a second mortifier.
Dogmata
with
will
the
throw
Zephyr
crack
squad.
into these for funsies. Missed. I think that's all we got. I killed nothing again. Let's do some
Yeah, that was brutal.
charges.
Needed more.
Canoness into here.
Needed more damage with that turn, I think, with that shooting phase. So we have the Canoness. We're going to force a fight last in this Paragon Warstead squad and try to kill them with the Sisters.
We'll do Repentia.
We didn't push this
just
Battle
the
Sister
Paragons.
squad forward, so I don't think we have any access to objective secured on this objective. So I think maybe the hope is just to get enough Repentia in to block the Sisters from holding the objective. But I don't know if that's going to happen.
You didn't buff your Dogmata, did you? No. Okay. Get a little bit closer in that case. Not that close.
Yeah, don't let Morvenval Vol in. She will om nom nom me into Sister's Repentia, no problem.
Oh.
Delicious.
Only move 5. Alright, Dogmata's gonna do Paragons and Morts 1.
Which Paragons?
Here and here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, why not? Overwatch, yeah.
So bring our Overwatch with our heavy flamers over here.
Wait. Yeah. And 2, rerolling.
Dead.
She's very dead. Goodbye, Dogmata.
Yep. All right.
Zephyrim going into Morts.
So okay, Zephyrim. We ate the Overwatch with the Dogmata so that we wouldn't have to eat it on the Zephyrim. So now the Zephyrim are going to push around to the back of the Mortifiers, and they are objective secured. So this is where we're getting our objective secured for Doots. He's not going for the Missionary. He's going to peek around the back of this formation. But they are full rerolls. They have all the buffs on them. Should put a pretty significant dent into that Mortifier squad.
I even want you to go now.
We do have to roll out the Zephyrim in the bottom here, though. Oh no, dudes, don't forget.
Orvin's just gonna charge here.
Okay.
What's happening? Are you saying anything?
Yeah, can you hear me?
No, I could not hear what you said.
Sorry, Morvin's charging right here.
Okay.
Thank God, because I only rolled a 2.
Close thing it is.
Alright, and then Zephyrim into your Battle Sisters.
Here comes
I'm
the
gonna
Zephyrim
take
charge.
a 11.
And there's the Miracle. Big charge. Going big numbers. Bounces around the side there. Yeah, gorgeous. It will probably get picked up by the Mortifier, although maybe not. The foes are only AP2. But at the very least, they should kill the Battle Sister squad and give Ash a little bit of a headache. But if all goes well, that's going to drop Ash down to another 4-point primary and break her second banner.
Did not do space in that corner.
So that raised the banner's high pick.
Intent not to.
A little bit awkward.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you shouldn't.
Yeah, you're good. That was your intent. It's all good.
Okay. Like a tenth of an inch kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay, so you're gonna fight last here. This should be on me. Unless you want to intervene.
No.
Okay. And I will start with Zephyrim, I think. The Zephyrim, that is.
So here comes the Zephyrim, bouncing into this Mortifier squad.
Too many hands. Let me get in here.
4 attacks each on the Zephyrim. Full rerolls from Morvenval. Theoretically, should rock through the Mortifiers, but we'll see. That 5+ damage ignore has been doing
we
really
are
well
looking at 26 with Warham.
Alright,
do with the
spend
personal
1
attack
CP
with
for the
Dogmata.
Mortal Ones thingy.
Yep.
That'll be their equivalent of Fight on Death for the Mortifiers.
3s rolling.
Oof, there's a lot of misses, but we do get those 6s
That's
exploding.
not great. And looking at
TV
5s
really
rolling.
Here's the rerolls.
Just 13.
13 punches through their
AP4.
armor save. Taking the 5 up, only
exactly
3 of them.
kill.
That should kill him. There it is. All right, Mortifier squad
So
goes
does
down.
the Flail get to fight? No. Does the Saw get to fight? No. Do I let them do Mortal Ones? No.
Okay, and neither of them fight
Wow.
on death. Well,
Okay.
that's lucky. That's a Duke needed, I think.
I don't think it really matters if I hop on any further, so I think I'm just going to stay where I'm at. Nothing else here as OPSEC, right?
Not right now, no.
Well, your Paragons do, but that will end. Well, I guess your Dogmata will give it back.
Here, do have to watch out for those command phase
Yeah,
targeted
so
abilities.
Yeah.
So Doots is gonna have
There's
to
no getting
look
out of
for
it
some
either
outnumber.
way, so would you like to interrupt?
Probably worth putting.
With Battle Sisters?
Or
probably
Paragons?
put 5 models.
Oh, I
on
need
the
to grow my
objective.
Miracle for charge phase.
Sure.
And so do you.
Oh, yeah, same.
Oh, another 6 for Doots.
I got 6.
His Miracle Dice are so strong for him. If only
mean,
his
my
saving
Paragon to
throws
fight
could be as
last
good as his
set, right?
Miracle Dice were.
These, I mean.
Oh.
I mean, probably not, but just wanted to give you the option before we go.
I think that was in Ash's background
No.
there, chat.
No.
I don't know what that was.
Yes.
No interrupts.
One of the players
Okay.
dropped something. That's what it sounded like.
So we'll go here.
I was thinking
Yeah,
about it with Battle
I
Sisters.
am safely in my
It is kind of funny if
my chair.
they like kill like 2. 1.7. What happens if I go here?
Yeah, looks like we have space for this model to peel back, and then it's gonna get half
It's a
and
good
half.
fight.
There it
All right,
is.
so
There's the
the
fight.
other one was 26, this was
All right,
21.
Zephyr. We need these Battle Sisters not to spike their Shield of Faith rolls right now. That'd be great. Ooh, that was a good hit roll. A very good hit roll, in fact. Hot damn.
14.
That should get them. Yeah, see ya. Goodbye, Battle Sisters. Zephyrum have laid claim to your objective.
All right,
Break another
Morven.
banner.
Do you want you to be anywhere? I'm not re-rolling there, so that doesn't matter. Yeah, it really doesn't matter. We'll just stay where I'm at. Big swings. Who's rolling? 3s. 2 mortals, 6 saves.
Alright. On the side.
Yep.
Alright.
Oh no! That Paragon
Ooh.
Warsuit squad just vaporizes to Morvenval. Finally, the
Just gonna stay where she's
saves
at.
going poorly for Ash. I think I would like to see Morven
here. I
placed
guess I'll do
here.
Rapincha
The
going
pile
in.
in because that restricts the
I'm gonna
movement on this
do
Paragon Warsuit squad, but I don't think it
Savage
ultimately affects
Twist.
it that much.
Go down to 3.
Are you going to slow roll these?
What's that? I'll just
Yeah,
let you.
so-
I'll just let you take them however you want. That's fine.
Okay.
What do we got here? 8 times 3, 24. Oh boy.
Oh my gosh, so many 6s rolled there for the exploding 6s.
All right, so 5, not 3s down to 2s if you want.
The 5. 5. Okay, one's dead.
So it looks like we got +1 damage on wound rolls of 6. Killed 1 Paragon Warsuit, and we're going to take a ton of saves on the other Paragons to see if that unit can survive the 20
Who's dead?
damage that the Sisters Repentia put through on them. Looks like second Paragon went down.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I can just check these all in.
Oh man, look at those saves though.
2 so far. And then these are 5 ups. Yeah,
Not,
it did.
not enough to do
And
both.
there
Yep.
goes the Paragons. Wow, what a turn from Doots! That was phenomenal. I think we were all a little bit worried after that shooting phase went so poorly, but 1 entire Mortarfighter squad down, 2 units of Paragon Warsuits killed this turn, although Doots is fully committed now, and again, he has to deal with those characters. He has to deal with the opposing Morphin Vol plus Ephriel Stern and Kaiganel plus this Cannon S.
All
He
right,
can turn off
I
the vulnerable
think that
saves
is it.
and spell
Miracle for Killing.
a quick death for these Invulnerable Save Protected Sisters characters. Now we do also, we shouldn't forget about this Mortifier squad in the back here with their Heavy Flamers.
Yeah,
Should be able to clear out some Zephyrim. Although they are a little far away right now. They're going to take a turn or two to push back in. And Ash will have to redirect some of her attacks into these Retributor squads to prevent them from continuing to deal damage. Now that said, if we can get rid of the heavy Overwatchers on Ash's side of the table, we do have a phenomenal, incredible, a phenomenal Miracle Dice pool for Doots, and we do have another unit of Sisters Repentia in reserve that can come in Ash's table, or in Ash's deployment zone now. So Ash does have to be worried about that unit coming in and clipping out an objective again for her. So I think we did misplay a little bit here for Doots. Ash had 1, 2, 3, 4 models towed the objective. Doots elected not to push in any of his Repentia so that they could protect the Cannon nest down here. And he also elected not to push in his Zephyrim. He could have orbited the Zephyrim around the side of the Paragon Warsuits here. Obviously not into engagement range there. That would be bad. But get closer to this model right here and get probably 4 or 5 of them onto this, towed onto the objective. What that would have done is prevented exactly what happened here, which is the Dugmata in the command phase gives objective secured to this unit of Paragon Warsuits. So now both players have objective secured. It goes to raw model count, and Ash takes the objective 4 models to 3. I think Doots given up a little bit of efficiency here with his with a couple misplays. That I think was certainly a mistake from Doots that just cost him 4 points, because Ash did get a 4-point or an 8-point primary turn despite Doots's best efforts. And here come Ephriel and Kaiganel pushing into the back line of the Sororitas, the Bloody Rose Sororitas, I should say. We also saw, I don't believe this Hospitaller has ever regenerated a Retributor in the movement phase. And I believe that led to the death of the Red Squad that last turn. I think Doots could have had, if he had remembered to regenerate his Retributors on turn 1, I believe that the squad would have survived on 1. Although it might have run away in morale, to be fair. Although Doots did have a lot of Miracle Dice. He could have miracled it. And again, the Hospitaller not regenerating any of the green squad. Not that it matters so much right now, because I do think Ephriel and Kaiganel plus all of these Paragon Warsuits will make quick work of that unit. But it does feel a little bit bad. So Dude's about to lose a bunch of his units here. But like we said, we do have a Battle Sister squad and some additional Crusaders in reserve, as well as an entire unit of Sisters Repentia. And a really good Miracle Dice pool to try to make some interesting things happen.
Yeah, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I think I can touch the objective.
I think Dude should be feeling pretty good this turn if he can escape this round of fighting on minimal casualties. Whether or not he's able to do that is going to be the question.
Have an insane spike over there.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, Mortifier hoping to kill the Zephyrim, but it seems unlikely with in one swing, although it will kill most of them probably with the flames.
Off, Retributors take 2 more to ones.
Well, things
from Ephriel Stern's Smite.
Yeah.
I wonder if we're going to be electing to shoot on death these Retributors if they end up getting hit.
CP for interrupt, yes you do. But not for interrupt and shoot on death. Okay. Marvin is going to shoot their Repentia.
Okay.
Rockets and Bolter. Got Bolter. Yep. Ones.
Three.
Okay, rockets number of shots hit 11. 2 3s.
4.
Oh,
Gross. I will be
Come on.
right back. You can keep good.
sure. Automata just went through a frag. One shot. Misses.
Good job, Dagmata. We're here for you. We believe in you.
Okay, sorry. What am I taking?
Automata missed.
Just gonna give
Down here. I'm
Doots'
just gonna
Morphin
shoot
Ball
this.
a little
Yep.
outline there,
Targets,
so we can keep the two
shots.
Morphin Balls apart.
Two saves.
2's good.
Alright. Paragons are gonna shoot all Melta shots into Val.
Okay.
And all Storm Bolter shots into the Seraphim, I guess.
Okay.
All right, Morvin. Time
Well,
to eat those Melta shots. Fingers crossed you don't get
Seraphim.
vaporized. What do we see?
These are all 2's. One left.
And the Melta shots.
Oof. Big hit to that Seraphim squad, especially since I think Doots was hoping to use that for retrieve knockman data in the late game.
He's rerolling.
I'm gonna burn one of these. I'll just do it now.
Ooh,
That
Morvin
goes through
immediately
damage.
failed to save. Well, for one down to 2 after the
Yeah,
That
Melta
would be
buff.
2. Because it would be 3 down.
Oh, true. Yeah, true. 6 down to 3, so
3.
that is 3 left.
And Morvin just failing these saves. Yikes. Well, past that one.
Okay.
And then
Alright.
Miracle Dice the other one. All right, well, she survives.
Canada's
But it's a
shoot
little
to
bit
Melta.
too close for comfort, I think.
And
Well,
wounds.
asking Morvin Ball to survive this amount of
I
firepower,
will
certainly.
moment grace that.
A little bit of a
Down
tall
to
order.
2. Burn to 2.
Sure. Yeah. And then Kagan will instant 1 plasma into your retributors and 1
Okay.
bolt pistol.
Okay.
No strats.
Nope.
1 shot. Misses and bolt pistol. Hits and wood. 1 dice.
6 of Philippine.
Alright.
No.
1 dice. Haha. Take that.
That's what I get for the bolt pistols killing the mortifier.
Okay. Yeah. So, probably have rerolled that one, but whatever. Yeah, I'm drowning in CP. Yep. Killed anything? No. No.
Nope.
Okay. So charges. Someone's just charging here. I don't think you're gonna overwatch this.
I will not.
These multipliers are charging here. Need 6.
Mm-hmm.
BP that.
Have to reroll our charge on the Zephyrim. All right, well, we got them. That could have been awkward if the Zephyrim had survived that turn. Upsetting the objective. Maybe we would
Bless you.
force the Paragons to turn around. Well, I think that's going to pretty quickly be curtains for Zephyrim. And we are quickly running out of models
6,
to
right?
deal with
That's
this
CP.
second Paragon squad.
Yeah.
The Peregrine squad? The Herp.
And that's
Herp-
charging more than.
The third Paragon
yep.
squad, I should say. The last 3.
Yeah, it's a pointless overwatch because she has mantle.
Mm-hmm.
And here come the
I'll
characters.
show charge for. Oops. Anyway, Kagan and Stun charging your Hospitaller.
Okay.
Good. Well, we'll charge Pincher plus Canoness.
Okay.
That's what I need. 3 and 2. Take a 4, roll the other.
Mm-hmm.
For the box. 2, 6. 3 and change.
Yep.
Paragon, I think we'll just charge Morven and the reds.
All right, give me a sec. Some of my
Sure.
time.
Maybe considering an Overwatch here with your Tribute Squad?
Big shots, no challenge.
Start there.
You on average hit once.
Well, I will hit at least once.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it does have a 6 in the Miracle Pool, so it could potentially auto-hit one of the Melta shots. And again, we are running out of models to kill these Paragons, so if Doots has the
No, I
ability
think I'll have to interrupt. Go ahead.
to knock a couple Paragons out would be good, but it looks like we're going to try to save the interrupt. And I do wonder if Doots is going to try to interrupt and clip this Mortifier out before it gets the opportunity to swing on the Zephyrim. If he can kill that Mortifier, he holds that objective, so he's going to remain at 8 primary
fight
points
off
and
Morven.
can has an
will
outlet to
fight
retrieve
last year,
knockback
Morven.
data
Wow,
in
what a
that
shot.
corner.
What?
Oh wait, my Dogmata is supposed to charge the adventure.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, she's not supposed to charge the adventure. What am I
Okay.
saying? She's supposed to stand there. I was like, yeah. I remember she was supposed to charge something. Then wait, no, that was not what she was supposed to do.
Where to?
Okay. So where do I start? I don't want to start here because it's pointless. Here you can't kill enough, so I'll start over here.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
so we're going to
attack
start
into your Zephyrim.
with the attack on
Rerolling.
the Zephyrim. Get that Zealot reroll going.
And 3s.
Oh, not a great wound roll.
5 saves.
5 going through. APT
What's AP on these again?
2.
down
3.
to
So these are
AP1.
four-
So they
two,
do
so
save
four
on a
ups.
4.
So I'm gonna
Looks
slow
like Doots is
these.
going to slow roll just in case he wants to use Miracle Dice.
One's dead. 2 dead. I've got more to do over there. Yeah. 3 dead.
3 Zephyrim go down.
Would you like to interrupt somewhere?
Gonna keep them in melee.
Yeah, I'll interrupt with orange.
And here comes the interrupt into the Mortifiers
Okay.
in the middle. Yeah, hoping for a big spike here. We are Warhams and full
so...
rerolls. So
And
the
you
Zephyrim
keep
squad
all
is
the
going to hit
ones
like
on
a
death.
truck, and we did see it kill 2 Mortifiers in the previous turn. If Doots can get it so that the this Zephyrim survives, assuming that he survives on this objective, he's actually going to score a 12 if this unit sticks around.
Better,
To
guys.
get our full rerolls. Yep,
Oh,
he. Did we reroll? Yeah. Oh, ooh. Come on, dudes. There you go, buddy. Oh, look at that conversion. Gorgeous. Not too many explosions, but full hits is solid. Then rerolling our wound rolls. That's a big number of 5s and 6s.
Last time.
Wow. 20 wounds go through on the Mortifiers. They just get their 5+. Oh, except the Anchorite could eat a couple of these. Looks like the Anchorite's going to eat one of them. Do we have any good Miracle Dice? No, we just have a Moment of Grace for Ash if she wants to spend it. Oh, but those 5-up damage ignores continue to be good. And the Anchorite is not quite dead yet. Blanks another attack. No, not like this. We needed the Zephyrim squad to be glorious.
One more on the Anchorite. Anchorite. Maybe dead. Anchorite is dead. And these are just more pins. So 2 die.
That was a lot.
Anchorite. Anchorite plus 1 plus something. So just take the flail plus flail. And alright, so do the flails get right on death. If you're not,
At least
and
Ash's
do I
fight
do
on
any
death
more
rolls have
close to
been
you?
awful.
I do. 5 more to wood.
Just enough.
Oof. All right, well, that did it.
Alright. Then we
Did
have
spend that CP for the
Villains
Mortal
done
Wounds
into the
on Death.
Hospitaller.
So that will
Stun
prevent
swings.
Doots from getting his 12. But
Well,
that was a good effort on Doots' part. Did force Ash to spend the
check
command
six,
points.
so
AP?
3 AP3, so you have 5 ups.
Oops.
Four
2 and 2
incoming
each.
damage.
Oh wait, Philippine.
Hagano's
Hospitaller
doing
getting
the 2 damage swing, by the way.
Oh no,
eviscerated
does she
by
give it to herself?
Hagano.
Yeah, she
Great.
does.
Yeah.
She does.
See ya.
Canoness will swing. So by 4 attacks. No reroll. 2 saves.
It's a blessed blade, right?
Just 1 damage to you.
1 damage.
Yeah. Maybe.
No, I do think
Who-
Ash made a little bit of a misplay here in not
Who attacks
piling in this
the
modifier.
remaining?
Because it looks like in the position it is, if it could pile in, it could base both Zephyrim and still be on the objective with the toe of its base right here. Which means that the Superior could not consolidate onto the objective, and Doots would have no way to
Didn't
take
matter
it.
here, but.
Okay.
And then yep, 2 wounds into the rats.
1 dies.
Kill 1. And then the 14. Foul.
Rip.
3's reroll.
Not impossible.
Nothing is impossible.
Okay, she's got 1 left. Alright, good talk. She explode? Nope.
There goes Morvenval, unfortunately. And we should make quick work with these Retributors, the remainder of the Paragon Warseed Squad. Excuse me, that was the Paragon Warseed Squad. So I think we are just...
then I think it's one of your fights.
Yeah, over to Doots to pick an attacker.
Yeah, we'll do Canoness. The ball, I guess. Let me just double check one thing. Yeah, okay. And I'll do reroll. Reroll everything that's not a 6. And force. 4 saves.
It's just a blessed blade, right? No.
Yeah, just blessed blade.
2.
Like 2.
Alright, Marvin will do 3 stabs into the 4 stabs into the Canoness and one stab into the Repentia.
Mm-hmm.
Repentia stab. It's wounds.
Goes through. Yep. Nope. No, thought about it. 1 miracle.
4 into the Canoness. 4 into the Canoness.
Come back. Good. 1 goes through, and I'll miracle for the other one.
Dominates.
So Canada survives to
You can swing at Zephyrim.
potentially fight
Oh, yeah, I need
Lance
to
Morven
do- I need
again,
to do
although
these.
we do still have Morven's double fight
Sure.
active.
Was
If
I
she wants
remember
to
they
use it to
fought,
clip that
but
canoness, which
they
I
didn't
imagine she
fight,
does.
fight.
If the canoness triggers Word of the
Right,
Emperor,
so looking at 9 attacks there.
gets an opportunity to kill Morvan, there's an outside chance she goes down. Although I guess not on the charge, it's actually almost impossible.
Just one. AP4.
And 5. Scratch.
Rets, I guess.
So a bit of a mistake from Ash there gives Doots the opportunity to hold that bottom right objective. So Doots will maintain an 8-point primary. A little bit sad about the Zephyrim in the center.
All right.
They did get knocked out, but I think that was bound to happen. It was unlikely they survived.
Rolling. And 4 + 1 mortal wood.
So there's the double fight.
All right, so starting off here.
See if the canoness survives.
You don't
Oh,
have a
boy.
miracle. Why are you slow rolling?
In case I want to do, what is it? Our free epic,
Oh,
which I will.
Gotta spend 2 dice on a moment of grace here
Mm-hmm.
to get the canoness alive against
So
Morvendal's
burn
double
the
swing
1 to
spear.
5. No, I kind of want that one. Yeah, I'm gonna burn the 5 to 6. That hurts, but I'm gonna do it. So she takes 1 mortal.
And the canoness lives.
that's
something.
morale then. I killed something.
Dude, saving the 1 so we can auto pass morale. Potentially.
Zephyrim can't fail. Seraphim, I'll burn the
Seraphim.
1.
Yeah.
And Retributors. Actually,
Lost 4.
lost 4. Yeah, I'll just roll it.
Oof.
Run.
Failed morale on the Retributors. Last one also runs. Yikes, yeah.
Oh, they didn't really do anything
That's
this game,
unfortunate.
anyways.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay,
did
and
more
I had
damage
1
out of those
miracle
guys.
at the end of
those
your
ladies.
fight phase.
I think if those 2 Retributor squads with their power
4
combined
from
had
character
had
dying.
clipped out a Paragon Warsuit team, we
You
would
get
be
1 for
feeling
killing.
pretty
Did I kill
okay
anything?
for
No.
Doots' position in the game currently. He would certainly not be in a good position having to fight all these really powerful characters, but he definitely wouldn't be out of it. I don't know if he has what it takes to kill this Paragon Warsuit squad. He does have the 1 Sisters for Pencha unit. He could auto pass a charge into them over here,
Start a turn.
but they would be in a kind of awkward position. Otherwise, he's just got some Crusaders and Battle Sisters in the Rhino, and everything else is just chilling.
I will be on 1. Right, what are we doing?
You know 2, right, dudes?
2 for what?
2.
Oh, that's right. I forgot I moved on to there. Yeah. Right you are, Ken.
So both these players, I think,
Alright.
making some slight positional misplays, which are probably sort of canceling out right now. I think Doots could have prevented Ash's 8-point primary for top of round 3, and I think that Ash could have prevented Doots' 8-point primary this turn. So probably
I have a lot less on the board than you do, but I have a lot
not that much of a
Yeah,
of a swing,
I can't
all
kill you
told.
at this point. It's just
Although again, I think Doots did short
what
himself a
can
little
I
bit of
do?
value on
Yeah.
his Retributors
Yeah.
previously with his Hospitaller.
I mean, you can. You have a full squad of revenge as a thing, so.
I wonder if I think that Hospitaller was out of range, to be fair, and it wanted to stay on the objective.
not having these survive is actually a huge deal, which I think might lose it for me.
Not having what survive.
These Zephyrim over here. I mean, they survive this
Oh.
turn, but they will not another turn. Because now I have to send them elsewhere. Or do that. Also need something there, which is not going to happen. Damn it.
Wonder if we declared a strategic scan that turn
He's trying to range there.
on Doots' side. I would have imagined that it would be one of the units on objective 1, because I know he strategic scanned his top objective last turn, or turn 1.
Can't do that either. One thing about Leap of Faith is I almost never get to use Word. Although, to be fair, I should have had a lot more, probably a couple more dice by now. Shoot the Dogmata. Really do anything.
I wonder if we drop a Battle Sister squad on the center objective.
That.
Fortunately, there's not too much that contests Ephraim and Kaiganel this turn. Maybe we just try to kill them with a Castigator, but that feels almost impossible with their -1 to hit and wound and good saving throws.
Go there, go there.
But I do think that if the Zephyrim had been able to interrupt here and clip out this Mortifier, I do think Doots is hoping to go clear that missionary on objective 5, which he's been eyeing the entire game and never really had a good opportunity to go kill that guy.
All right, let me advance my Seraphim Superior.
Big 6.
Nice.
The Seraphim advance.
18.
Yeah, okay. Looks like we're maybe gonna try to
Really? I guess I should have moved her first.
contest Ephraim Kaiganel.
Hate you, game. God damn it. Alright. Well, either way, she would have died.
Yeah, so the problem there is that Doots wanted to get on the objective outside of, I think outside of heroic intervention range of Ephraim's turn. And the only place to do that with a big advancer would have been here. If he had moved the Repentance Superior first,
just block
he would have
that.
gone there. But because movement is sequential, Doots did roll his advance roll. He wouldn't have. That's information he would not have gotten when he moved the Repentance Superior. So certainly would have changed his game, his moves.
Do I block or do I... back?
Real question for me this turn is where this Repentia squad ends up. Because it does have to come on this turn. And it does have the opportunity to maybe try to blow up one of these big units.
Leave myself out of 3 here.
Although, I mean, this missionary is like such a juicy target. If we can clear the missionary, I'm not sure there's too much on AshC's side that threatens into that objective. Although we do have a maximum charge with Ephraim and Kaiganel. Although you can probably position
we need to steal that.
the Repentia to be outside of charge range. They only threat 19.
2-1 right now. So Crusaders will get out. And then advance.
So using the Castigator's big body to body block. Charges onto the Rhino. Canoness is going to fight last Morvenval a second time. And potentially, I don't think we have the CP, or the Miracle Dice to trigger
these
Word of
Battle Sisters, get out.
Don't you know you can do a rectangular measure just like that?
I'm not smart though, I can't do that. We're gonna advance. Nice.
These advance rolls are so big. And then Mortifier's going to get stuck behind a wall. So we do have the Zephyrim open to go do other stuff now.
Via Morven next turn. These... are going to die unless they go somewhere else.
How dare you run away? Stay in combat and fight me like a true Texan.
Like a true Texan.
No great options.
I don't even know if you're
position on
from
these
Texas.
Zephyrim.
I just know you're in Texas.
I am from Texas. I'm in Texas and also from Texas.
Stay and fight me like a true Texan. A true Texan warrior.
True Texan. God damn it. Why do you gotta make me think, Ash? I can't. This hurts my brain.
You could just have played something other than Sisters.
Just gonna go here.
You know, Sisters require brains. Unless you play my list, then you just push everything up the middle.
Alright, this thing is gonna...
You chose to play Infantry Sisters, which requires brains. I chose to play Mechanized Sisters, which requires no brains.
I guess this is my payback for dodging Eldar and Tyranids.
Yeah. That's your payback for making for
being
into the
by your
finals.
list.
When I like rammed head first through Tyranids, and Hail of Doom. You deserve this, dudes.
I do. I really do.
So it looks like we are going to be sending these Repentia over here to try to get this missionary. Knock Ash off for 12-point turn.
Putting
at the
all
very
those
least.
Repentia in with just one missionary.
It's worth it. It's worth it for the Battle Sisters, and it'll be worth it for this guy. Alright. Let's do other things, like shoot guns. I'm going to shoot Morven in the face.
Good stuff, Morven.
I hit,
Good start. Oh,
and I failed to win.
Sag.
Now we're going to shoot the Mortifiers with the Castigator. Threes and threes. Get in there. 3.
Pause.
Please
And-
stop it.
No. 2.
I just want to kill one. That's all I want.
No.
Nope.
Not allowed.
God say, oh, maybe it is. Got 3. No, probably not.
Ah, one
Yeah.
5-up gets made. Mortifier
That
survives.
hurts my soul. I guess I'll shoot you with a Rhino.
Go get a Rhino. We believe in you, buddy.
Nope. No fun allowed. That's it. I guess I'll throw a crack
To be
grenade
fair,
at
though,
Ephraim.
I don't believe this Mortifier is on the objective, so I think it's still.
I missed because you're -1, right? I don't play those silly Xenos. All right, well, let's do a charge into this fucker. Going 10.
There's the Miracle Dice charge to the
Not very
missionary.
nice of you.
Sorry, missionary. He's gonna
Calling
go
him
poorly for
names
you, I
like
bet.
that.
He likes it.
It is important to make sure that nothing
He's
can
just
get
here to
a hit on
preach.
these Repentia. You have to make sure that Ephraim and Kaiganal aren't within.
Let's give him
19
something
now.
to preach about.
I think it might be a little close. I think the Repentia had to be on the back half of this objective for that to happen.
All right. Oh no, you're gonna take this back from me because I didn't kill that guy. Damn it. Yep.
Yeah, Zigmata's gonna drop
Yep,
objective secured on herself. I think. I'm not sure it would have mattered actually, right?
All right. Well, go in here.
He's dead. Whatever.
Yeah. All right. Into vaults, just 5 this time.
Oh, it is only core units. Yeah.
Everything is not 6.
So I think at the very least, Morven's gonna
2.
kill the Canoness and then peel back onto the objective. That's what's gonna happen here.
1.
That. Please don't hurt me.
Canoness
Stabby stabs into.
worked as hard as she could. You got one more damage into
Canoness.
Morven.
Oh god.
Oh boy! All right, look at those exploding 6s go.
I'm dead.
Take 1,000 mortal wounds.
She fights on death. Here we go.
There's the Cuirass activating.
It's 5 still.
Chaplet of sacrifice.
Oh, sorry. Let's reroll it. Reroll everything. It's not a 6. 3 more. Hey! Take that. I killed, and I think that's it because I can't do both. Got a 3. I think that's all we're doing, yeah? You gonna come this way?
A bit, but not.
You don't want to take it?
Oh wait. Oh.
Yeah. Come on now. I mean, unless you have... Yeah. I guess I could hit you.
Dude's like...
Yeah, there you go.
Planning for his opponent's turn, and then just hoping that she doesn't do it. I appreciate the sportsmanship on Doots'
I
part
did
here, though.
not
Basically
do
reminding his opponent to get an 8-point primary.
with
Would you
my
like an
life
8-point
that
primary,
turns,
Ash?
that's
Here
it.
you go. Here's how you get it. You just have to pile in more of a
Miracle. 4.
Good guy Doots over here.
And
Yeah.
miracle.
Would have
Both
still
get
been
miracle.
contested if that Mortifier had
Yep.
been killed, though.
Mortified
Unfortunately for Doots.
4 and 4.
So now I think what happened, I think everyone Kaigan here, because we
Do you
have
take
two
your fight
6s
phase while
and a
your
miracle
Canoness dying?
pool, we can automatically
Yeah, you can't stack them, right? So I just got a 3.
get a charge into their sister's Repentia to try to remove them.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Same
Because,
difference.
like, yeah.
Alright. Come on, finish it. 12 buffs don't matter.
Yep.
Don't matter, doesn't buff anyone. And don't matter says fight better. Which no one fights better. Okay.
Thanks, Amana, you're the best. These prayer rolls, though. Ash's saving throws have been great.
Here,
Prayer
can I
rolls,
see
not
the
so much.
Seraphim? No. Instead, we will go back. And 6 this way. You can see the castigator.
Okay.
Okay. Nothing in the rhino anymore, right?
It is empty.
Side, so you can see the rhino and be within 3 inches of it.
Mm-hmm.
Was the incredibly stupid way that ranges are measured in 40k.
Ash, let me tell you how within works, okay? And then I'll rage quit the game.
There's a deep cut.
Please don't. Any competent opponents.
All right. Well, I think we're sort of moving to a mop-up phase of the game here. The real question is whether or not Ash clips out this Repentia unit, because that's the last saving grace that Doots has on the table. Although Doots has kept things very close. He's been able to knock a couple rounds off, or at least one round off Stranglehold. Keep Ash's banner score down to basically nothing.
Okay.
Although he has given up a big assassination score,
Shooting.
as he has.
Repentia Spear eats 2.
Over here. Okay.
Go to actual shooting. Mortify is just gonna shoot the Crusaders. Do you want me to roll this?
Yeah, try it. It's not impossible.
16 shots.
Oh, okay.
Both
you're good.
saves. Yeah. Can you beat the? Well, if you can beat those odds, you can like win the lottery or something.
You only overkilled me by 3. How dare you?
By 150%. Cannon shoots
So
a
it looks
pistol
like we
at
are
the
going to be
Rhino.
spending our big
You wouldn't
charge on the
dare.
Dogmata.
Wounds.
She will get onto the objective, and with OBSEC, I think we're
Closer.
hoping that we have the Dogmata and the Canoness. So if we
4
can kill
damage.
enough of the Battle Sister squad on objective 1,
Yeah.
the Dogmata. Oh no, she's not objective security. Excuse me. No one was in range of that. So there is no OBSEC over here, but we're hoping that we can kill the Battle Sister squad.
Aragons will dump
And if
everything
that happens,
into
then the Canoness plus the Dogmata will take objective 1 away.
Castigator.
Although that's a little bit difficult to do.
Do they have any rerolls or anything?
Oh,
No.
god damn it. They were supposed to stay in Canoness range.
Yeah, you're fine.
But
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, so ones, 3s.
Hey-o. Hey.
Cascade or
take
blanks
8.
one of the multi shots.
Yeah.
Auto max a damage roll with a Miracle Dice though. Ash still with 2 4s and a 6 in her pool. That poor Castigator, it doesn't deserve that treatment. This thing has done stone cold nothing all game. It's killed 1 Mortifier.
1. And
Where's
then
the
Val
shooter?
will shoot. Val will shoot it. Rockets. Both hit. Both ones. 4 ups.
Dead.
Dead.
Explode. Nope.
Because Cascade
And-
devolves
oh,
missiles.
my God, I forgot to move this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. You're such a forgiving opponent, Doots.
Mortifier leaves the objective to
Shooting
chase
the
the
Zephyr.
Zephyrum
Actually,
down.
shooting the Repentia. Let's go.
I'm surprised I even did this much to you, honestly.
You would be surprised at how untanky this list actually is. Comes down to 2 damage each. Repentia.
Oh, Repentia. My bad.
Shooting the Zephyr is pointless.
I was wondering.
Okay.
You killed one. We'll take this one.
Shooting it 2. 2 4s and then you roll the 5.
Fucking losing my mind. There we go.
1. Total. You
Just remove any number.
I'm just like not paying attention at all. Okay,
Roll a bunch of
I believe
attacks.
you.
Remove however many models you feel like.
You believe me when I tell you you lost less than you thought. Okay. Charges. Generate Miracle. 6. Charges. Mortify here.
Yep.
Morven there.
Please fail.
No, not Morven there for that. Yeah, Morven there.
Oof. Yep. There's the big
GG.
charge. Into the sisters. Yeah.
Yeah.
Should clean the sisters unit
Um,
with her sweep attack.
Canoness Rhino.
Yep.
And it looks like we're going to
Is
be
Ash
sending
ever gonna lose
the
again with Sisters sliding into S tier?
characters into the Rhino. We do have a Miracle Dice available if we wanted to put them into the
Master
Battle
Rhino.
Sisters.
And this one over here, take a 4, roll the other.
Okay.
And there's the automatic
7.
pass on the charge with for the Paragons.
And Paganel instead. Nice. Okay. You
Is
don't
Ash
have an
ever gonna lose
interrupt,
again
so
with sisters
fight.
sliding into S tier?
Multiply
Yeah, I don't know,
it
chat.
and- sorry, anchor solo anchor
It seems unlikely.
Zephyr.
Ash has already proven her worth when sisters are in a really good spot.
Oh,
I think to the point that she started
Um,
playing other factions in order to like give herself a challenge. So.
Alright, you gotta be careful.
She
on
might lose when
these.
she plays
I'm gonna
like
go ahead and
Imperial
burn
Knights and
one.
Admech or something.
AP2, right?
So Dude's gonna spend a couple miracle dice here
pull it
just to
out.
score out his leap of faith.
We're dead. Good. Good. Nope. Couldn't give it to me.
Into their Adventure Superior.
Mm-hmm.
2 damage attack from Paganel.
We're dead.
Dead. Then the foot checks back. Sweet. Then we have Val doing sweep, I guess. Actually, no, she'll do 1 stab and the rest will sweep.
Okay.
So let's start with stab.
Should have saved that miracle for these.
And, sorry, I wanted to use the 6 on this stab.
Yep.
Can just treat that as a hit reroll. Sure. So 1 plus mortal.
Yep, so 2 dead.
Yeah. And then sweep. 1.
Ooh.
These are AP2, yeah. So 4s.
So we've lost 3 sisters so far. 4 sisters, 1 live.
And
Oh, and there
Yep.
goes the unit.
no. Okay.
Interesting technology there to use an auto 6
Wouldn't have
on a
mattered,
wound roll
just
to
for my own
inflict
sake.
mortal wounds in addition
Yeah,
to
it wouldn't
mortal roll.
matter.
Basically the same as a sweep attack, but your second attack automatically converts, assuming that the first attack
I'm gonna
hits, which it
explode.
probably should with the reroll.
And
charging.
kill a Paragon with my D3 damage explosion.
Certainly. You may attempt to do so.
That is 100% possible.
It's a lot of misses, unfortunately, for Ash there. Ooh.
2 saves from the Rhino.
Rhino doesn't even die. Good job, Rhino.
4. Yep.
Cananas. Rotation.
Yep.
Pulling in metal sisters while they are terrifying in combat.
Hey, those are Bloody Rose Battle Sisters. I'll have you know.
Who want charged? Cananas does 1.
Oh, man. Alright.
Fine.
AP, yeah, because you're 3. Haha.
Dogmata has
Dogmata.
3 attacks.
She won't do it.
All right, Zegmana.
She won't do it.
Can you kill the tank?
Plus Val.
She won't. Oh,
Full
God.
plus Val.
Oh,
No.
the Bloody Rose Rhino.
Fair enough. Good job, Rhino. We're proud of you. So another question here is like whether or not these sisters of Prince can get back in the fight and do anything.
It's fine.
Know
Yeah.
if we can declare a charge from outside.
All right,
of our
I'm gonna
line of sight.
hit the
here.
Canoness, because why not? Oh, what am I at? No, I'm at 1
It
attack.
doesn't appear that we have.
Gonna roll
we don't
a
have
6.
any miracle dice for dudes. We need a double
See?
6s, I think, to get that charge.
2 attacks, 2 hits.
So I did get in clip out the mortifiers. It would be
2
nice
wounds.
for dudes, so it doesn't change the outcome of the game. I don't
The
think. but
Dogmata.
The Canoness.
certainly scores more points on bringing it down, which is always good.
Oh.
Pins.
All right.
So Dooch should still continue to hold 1 objective here, but I think the rating is on the wall for him, unfortunately.
I lost the character.
Ash will begin scoring out her strangleholds, although she is very low on banners. We can drop a banner with Ephrael and Kaiganel and probably set them up potentially to do a banner onto
Burn
the center
3 on the
objective
row.
on the subsequent turn, and potentially this objective too. So we could hold, maybe get 5 more points on banners.
That'll give me 8. probably.
Downside is that Doots has no way to complete his retrieve knockwind data at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll make two. Yeah.
So many mistakes this game.
Still, Doots bringing it to a 1-point deficit going into the bottom of the 4th battle round. He does have battle round 5 scoring, but I don't think
That's
that
the
will
only
make
thing
much of a
here.
difference.
Yeah, I need to
at
roll
this
my
stage.
miracle for a turn.
Do you have a 6 in the miracle dice pool?
2.
Just a 2 as the second die. Not quite that good.
2 boots.
2 points. You get 1 more turn of scoring. I can put you on 1, 2 instead of 12. Seems decent.
The amount that I want this Seraphim Superior to clip out
Nothing
of Mortifier
going
with
on
their,
there.
gunshots is like enormous.
Oh no. Oh yeah, okay. My Battle Sisters were not in right yet because he didn't kill Rhino. Okay. So these are gonna go here. Stay inch off the wall.
Attempt with 12-inch charge.
No. They're gonna rod. Seraphim is gonna go 18. And contest that. These are just gonna do what they're doing. Just being a body. And yeah, let's see if I fail my rod.
So
I
the
do
troop
not fail my
knockwind
rod.
completes.
I need to kill
It does get
the Rhino dies
Doots
Yep.
from
to
something.
Does it explode?
his,
Nope.
4 points on
Right.
Troop Knockwind.
You get a miracle.
Not rolling out the Rhinos getting killed. We did contest
I get a
Ash
miracle.
on
We
the
all get a miracle,
bottom
yeah.
left.
Get to
And what we could
Consolidate.
potentially do is, assuming that there's nothing that can kill these Repentia, although we do have the mortifiers here, he could that one single mortifier, excuse me, they could potentially try to knock them down. If enough Sisters of Repentia survive,
and then I give them offset.
they can try
Oh yeah,
to.
fuck. God damn it.
Ooh, mistake on Doots' part again. Second time Doots has done this. Didn't put all 5 sisters on the objective, so that when they get objective secured from the Dogmata, they would actually take it away.
Consolidate like that. I could just consolidate up this way. That
Well, you
That
gotta
would
move
be
close to
better.
me, right?
the sun was here, so I can just move up this way. Because the Rhino was like this.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just get one more body on. 4 versus 3. Am I 15? 12 words. This one was...
Yeah, that is unfortunate. I think if Doots had played around the Dogmata command phase ability twice, Ash would have been 8 points down on primary, and that would have been much closer. 57 points.
These ones. Alright.
Yeah, I think we would have been looking okay for Doots if that had been the case,
Yeah, these ones will do the
but
star.
not doing great
These
here.
will pick up.
Hoping for these mortifiers to complete the scouring secondary, the scouring special action.
Yeah, removing the inbound doesn't matter. So, let's see, do I do it with Meltas?
I'll just pick them up. It's all good. So they die.
Yep, these ones are doing banners.
You can just charge with all.
They move to the corner and do banners. The ones in the middle do scarring. Just make it back a bit more. And this one the shoots, I guess. Pincher. 3 repentia saves.
Okay, I'm gonna miracle fail 1, and then I've got 2 more. 2
So
damage
Dude's
each.
spending the miracle dice again to get
then-
his leap of faith points up. He can spend 1 on a save even if it doesn't pass the save,
Charge.
and then spend 1 on the
Reroll
morale
it.
check, assuming that the unit
Nothing else about
survives.
CP on.
Looks like the mortifier is not going to make its
Yeah,
charge, but
yeah.
we do have a CP reroll.
Miracle the morale.
Get it? There's the miracle for the morale. Some relief with faith scores.
Stranglehold. And max assassination. And get my banner down.
You'll get 1 more scouring.
Yep.
So just the 1.
Just 1 scarring and 1 banner.
And
And
it
one
looks
banner.
like Ash will get 1 more
Oh, you get
banner
banner
at the
here, right?
end of the
So you get-
turn.
No, because I killed you in your turn. I can't drop a banner.
Well, I mean, like scoring to the end of the game.
No, I can't because in turn 5, I killed them in turn 5. It was contested.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay.
Yeah, there's only an Nephilim. There's still a Nachman.
All right.
We haven't traversed the whatever, I don't know what rift.
Let's see. I think the only thing I do
So
is...
Doots with bottom round fight scoring here. He could get 4 on primary. He only, his 2 models
I think the only
remaining.
thing I do is just scan,
Yeah, could perform the strategic
Yeah.
scan there
hold 1 and scan.
to get his 3.
Hey, you won.
And he does get the meme number 69.
Hmm.
Hey.
You won.
I did win. If I would have done my other scan and
Yeah, I do think Dude's.
deployed my battle sisters better, I probably could have won that. Which
Yeah,
is
I do think Dude's potentially
oof.
Yep. punted a little bit. Although to be fair, Ash also did the same thing
GG?
round 3.
GG.
Multiple times, I think, actually. So both players basically made the same mistake. So I think, honestly, the mistakes to some extent evened out. I don't think it was just Dudes.
So what are you changing for Nephilim? Or is it secret tech?
It's not secret tech, but it's not discussed on the stream. You can know about it, other people can't.
I got some ideas myself.
If anybody has any questions for the players, go ahead and throw them in there. Yeah, GG, everybody. The
Yeah.
game was pretty sweet.
Yeah, I think it was fun. I could have played better. I made a few mistakes, but
Yeah, I think both of you allowed each other to score objectives several times, which was it was a very cordial game. Both of you were like, "Oh, would you like this objective that you're standing on? You can have that." Here you go. Which is very nice of you, both of you. So I appreciate that.
that's how I play, man. I just want to. I figure my opponent is always trying to do the best, and it's going to do the thing that I don't want to lose because somebody forgets something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I also mean that your models moved in such a way that your opponent held objectives.
Oh yeah, sure.
I think the Ink Raid over here could have prevented that objective scoring with its pylon. At least once, and then obviously I think these 2 objectives flipped at one point. This Dastardly Dogmata over here.
Yeah, got me.
The Dogmata got you twice, dude.
I know.
I know.
It's like,
Well, it's because I don't play sisters, so I don't know how the Dogmata works.
that's true. Yeah,
Right?
that would do it. Hey, have you considered taking a Dogmata in your army? They seem pretty good.
After this game, I think I might actually put one in. But
Yeah. I think I saw one. There was one on your tray, right? But then you removed it really quickly. So.
no, pay no attention to that.
Dude, you forget, right? I'm less Sororitas than you are.
That's right. You are a filthy Xenos player. So
It's true.
I'm playing Harlequin.
Being led by a dirty Harlequin over here.
Look at this guy. Look at him.
It looks like the chat was interested to hear what the changes are for Nephilim.
Well, you can wait until the invitational to see.
Oh, there you go. Ooh, keeping low. I like it.
Spicy.
I mean, a lot of people know what my list is going to be, but I don't think anyone on this server knows, so...
There you go.
I will say
that's
that.
for you guys.
Super secret.
So my list gains exactly 45 points. And with those points, I can drop the Hospitaller and an Inferno pistol and have exactly 100 points to do sneaky things with.
Ooh.
And I'll say that.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah. Did that Hospitaller hospital anyone this game?
No, not this game.
All right, fair enough. Who
That was
needs
potentially play into red.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it looks like she was out of range to heal green, I think, if she wanted to stay on the objective, right?
yeah, it was just red on turn 2.
Yep.
But it's like, honestly, like the Indomitable Leaf and Book of St. Lucius combo is just not worth it with Armor Contempt. I've been thinking about cutting it for a long time, and now that Nephilim's here, that's like the first thing to go.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
That does
I
make
think
sense.
I think the only time I've rezzed Meltas, like in Melta range and done wacky stuff was in a night match when I didn't even need it in the first place. So, yeah.
Yeah. That's fair enough. Well, cool. I guess I'll put your scores in right now.
My list changed by exactly 0 points.
Sick. That's exciting.
Net gain 0%. I love it.
Nice.
On the other hand, the changes did encourage me to make certain other changes.
Wow.
You took an extra squad of Battle Sisters.
Without paying points for them.
Not
the
a
list didn't
battalion.
change, but there's extra Battle Sisters in it now.
Still a patrol, just just flexing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The battalion, some HQ changes, move around. Things happened.
Exciting stuff. Well, I'm sure we'll take a look for the invitational.
It's in a book.
So yeah, you are all set. So congratulations to both of you, Ash. Congratulations to for taking it down. And yeah, that was a sweet game.
Thank you. I see Salad is raging at me, but Salad doesn't get to know because Salad's probably playing in this invitational. So,
Oh, Salad.
so good luck for you, Salad.
Get good. Play Sisters, dude.
There you go. I heard they're gonna be okay.
I've heard that too.
Yeah.
I thought that too.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting. Strange. All right. Well, thank you.
I-
Yeah, thanks.
I wonder.
You're all
I
set.
legitimately wonder if anyone's gonna show up with like fancy Necron tech.
I hope they do, because I want to see it. I want to see a Veil of Darkness Seraptic Heavy Construct.
Hell yeah.
Unless it's a failure.
Seems good.
What are eggs at baskets? Who knows?
Nice.
All right,
All
y'all.
Okay, good night, guys.
Cheers.
I'm going for
Night night.
rest
Good
of
game,
my
Ash.
day. Bye. Bye.
See ya. All right, chat. That's it for this one. Thank you. I'm going to be playing the Pod 26 finals. 24? I don't know. Pod finals tomorrow. I'm going to be playing in that one against Dylan Usher. Harlequins versus Tyranids. I'm pretty sure Harlequins have it. I don't know what to do against them, to be fair, but I will play and do my best. I think that they will run Harlequin troops all over my face, and I will lose all my primary objective points, which will be sad, but we'll see how I'm able to make it out. Otherwise, thanks everyone for tuning in tonight. I know it was a bit of a late stream, but I thank everyone for hanging out with me. We'll give a nice little raid to somebody who's Warhammering today. We have Artosis on StarCraft. Could be fun. Let's see Warhams. Warhammer. Hey, that's me. I'm streaming right now. Any games going on? Everybody's painting. Impending Duff. That sounds fun. We'll hang out with them. Cool. All right, chats. Thanks everyone for hanging out. And I'll be live tomorrow. See ya.